Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Welcome to the big news. The topic for today's discussion: Russia cuts gas supplies to Poland and Bulgaria. Before we understand what this topic is all about, a quick gentle reminder about the Target Prelims 2022 crash course. We will be live on our YouTube channel from April 30th, 2022, and this initiative will be live from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. every single day. Please do subscribe and get the notifications and share it with your fellow aspirants. Let's get started and try and understand what is this issue all about. We have discussed about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. As this happened, there was a large-scale human rights violations. There were political implications. This also led to economic turmoil in and around the world. As a result, what does United States of America do? United States of America, along with its partners, started imposing sanctions on Russia. After the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the US-led North Atlantic Treaty Organization NATO slapped nearly 4,000 economic sanctions against Russia, from blocking international transactions of big banks to blacklisting nearly 300 Russian companies, along with 500 institutions and more than 3,000 individuals. The minute this imposition or sanctions happened on Russia, what was the repercussions? The currency of Russia immediately drops. What happens? The ruble goes on to slip to the historic lows after the Russia attack Ukraine. The ruble, which was around 80 before this particular invasion, immediately drops to just above 120 as well. So what is the impact? The currency of Russia immediately takes a hitting and there is depreciation. As a result of this economic sanction, the Russian currency further drops and ruble became one of the worst performing currencies. In order to overcome this particular issue, Russia had to take multiple steps. Why? Because its currency ruble happened to take a hit because of the sanctions. So what does Russia do? Russia starts taking multiple options which is at its disposal. What are the measures taken by Russia? The Bank of Russia, the country's central bank, pumped USD 1 billion on the day of invasion to support the tumbling ruble. It imposed capital controls and a ban on foreigners' security selling. It banned all Russian residents from transferring foreign currency abroad. And finally, those unfriendly countries that imposed sanctions against Moscow were made to pay in rubles for the Russian natural gas. So all those countries which were importing natural gas from Russia, who were paying in dollars or in euros, now had to pay in ruble. This is where the present context steps into picture. After the Western powers placed the financial sanctions on Russia in response to this invasion, Russian President Vladimir Putin announced that all those unfriendly countries would have to pay for the gas in the Russian currency. So in the present situation, the state-controlled Russian energy giant Gazprom has said it was cutting off Poland and Bulgaria because they refused to pay in Russian rubles. So those countries which were opposing Russia, which indirectly was supporting Western powers, but they were getting imports in the form of natural gas, were asked to pay in rubles. But since these countries declined, that is why Russia has said it is planning to cut off the natural gas to these countries because they are not ready to pay in rubles. What was the new payment system put in by Russia? According to this new payment system, Russia said all those importing countries would have to establish an account in dollars or euros at Gazprom Bank and ask this particular bank and direct the bank to exchange the money for rubles. Now the question is, why were Poland and Bulgaria selected when many other countries also declined such transaction? That is because Poland happens to receive its Russian gas from the Yamal-Europe pipeline as shown in the image. Similarly, you also have Bulgaria, which receives the natural gas through the pipelines that come over Turkey and reach the Bulgaria. But in the last few weeks, in the last few months, Polish sanctions have been imposed against Russian individuals and firms, and at the same time, if Ukraine has to receive its equipment, weapons, it used to pass through Poland as well. That is why Poland was selected, and at the same time Bulgaria was selected because it did not support Russia during this particular invasion. So if we have to look into the statistics about the Europe's dependence, Europe depends on Russia for most of the natural gas. Russia is the largest supplier of gas to Europe, which it uses to heat homes and generate electricity. In 2020, EU received some 40% of its gas from Russia. In this picture, you have all these countries like Germany, which has a dependency of about 66% from Russia, and then you have Luxembourg, which has a dependency of 27%. Poland has a dependency of 54%, and then you also have countries like Hungary, which have dependency of 95%, and Bulgaria depends on Russia for as much as 75.2%. And as a result, these countries are not happy with this move of Russia of blocking the natural gas to these countries. So what has been the response of the countries? According to Poland, they had entered into the contract. According to this contract that Poland had entered with Russia, they were supposed to pay either in dollars or in euros, and as a result they now feel that this imposition by Russia to pay in rubles is not right. It is a violation of the contract, so terms and conditions have been violated. So the Polish gas company has threatened to take legal action. Why? Because it is a violation of the contract. And when it comes to Bulgaria, Bulgaria has said it has enough gas for now, but in the near future it may face the trouble. What has been the response of the European Union? They did initiate emergency talks, and member states have been asked to put contingency plans as well, and in all likelihood they will try and diversify from multiple other sources. How will it impact Russia? Will it have a positive outcome? Yes, say a few political thinkers. The minute this threat was issued by Russia, one of the countries, Hungary, was willing to pay in rubles for continued Russian gas shipments. This meant that Russia would be receiving the currency, and this also means that the currency crisis that it is going through will not take a hit. So on one side, it will have a positive outcome. But there are other political thinkers who also say that this will have a lot of impact to Russia in a negative way. How? That is because when we speak about the natural gas, Russia could ship oil by tanker elsewhere, such as India and China. So India and China are the energy deficient countries. If we want petrol or diesel, we would be able to import from Russia. And when we import from Russia, Russia would be paid as well. So it will be able to export petrol and diesel to multiple countries like China and India. But when it comes to natural gas, it won't be able to export the same to China as well as India, because these are the pipelines that are laid from Russia to Europe. The gas pipeline system from major deposits in North Russia's Yamal Peninsula to Europe does not connect the pipeline leading to China, since it won't be able to supply these natural gases to China or India. Its reserves will take a hit and it will be impacted negatively, say some of the political thinkers. What will be the global ramifications? This particular incident will clearly mark an escalation of ties where Russia is using gas as a political leverage, and at the same time is also sending a message to the public at home that Putin can dictate the terms of the gas reports. And at the same time, if we have to speak about Europe, Europe may see, because of this natural gas crisis, it will struggle without the Russian natural gas, and it may also hit recession as well. In fact, Germany is also worried, and it could go into recession if it were cut off from the Russian energy. So all the countries in the Europe which have been importing natural gas from Russia will take a major hit, and if it is not being supplied by Russia, there are very chances that these countries may also face recession as well. So what are the options that are available with the European countries? As of now, European leaders are ordering more liquefied natural gas which comes by ship, seeking more gas from the pipelines from places like Norway and Azerbaijan, accelerating deployment of wind, solar energy, and pushing conservation measures as well. So the aim of the European leaders is to cut use of Russian gas by two-thirds by the end of the year and completely by 2020. And at the same time, it is also importing from the United States of America. Italy, which almost gets 40% of its gas from Russia, has also worked out multiple other deals with Algeria, Azerbaijan, Angola, Congo, and also from Qatar as well. So we have the European leaders who are planning to diversify their sources and cut down the import from Russia. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.